Hey guys, this is me again. I'm here making another deck profile. I want to call this deck Chaos Diva Hero because it runs the Diva engine, it runs the Destiny heroes, and it runs various of Chaos cards that works really good for remove and play and great for beat sticks. So my deck is like I consider it maybe as a fun deck, but I want to main it this format. For one, it's really good against injectors. It's been really doing well because of the fact that it has really no field presence unless it really needs it. And the only really bad matchup because it is really good against Chaos Dragons and Dino Rabbit, which is kind of surprising, but it has its fair even shares of losing. But the deck that I can really never beat and is like almost like 100% beat down is gladiators, and I can't beat them even with Royal Decree because they can just attack and blow it up, and they can have their access to back row and war chariot. So you'll see why this deck is really bad against glads, and here's the deck list. First I run the Diva engine, so I run 3 DC Divas, pretty much the water engine in the deck. I also do run Mirror Confusion to combo with my Destiny heroes. Pretty much you summon one, maybe you can do a first turn summon. Get first turn Gachi. Usually Gachi stays around for a turn or so. And I usually summon another monster, maybe like a Diamond Dude or Stratos, and they're like 20 beaters. A lot of times I've seen a lot of people that main Thunder King, that just play Thunder King and like end turn, so I summon Stratos or whatever and swing over it. And I have other monsters that are just like, wow, they're really good with Gachi. And the fourth card is Lost Blue Breaker. He helps me go out for Catastor, or I can pop out a back row with him, and I can go into like summon DC Diva, go into Lost Blue, pop a back row. Usually it's always a warning or something because nobody ever solves the DC Diva, or even sometimes not even Veiler it. And I pop the back row, and I go for Malicious, which I can synchro to an 8-star. So it's a free pop, and I can get a Stardust Scrap Dragon or anything like that. But that's the water engine for that. For pretty much the hero engine, which is 1 Stratos, 2 Diamond Dudes, and 2 Maliciouses. This deck went through a lot of changes. I've been putting 1 Diamond Dude in, 1 out, take 1 in, maybe 3 at one point. Take them out. I've been doing a lot of recycling with this deck. This deck I've been playing with for maybe like a couple months. So this is the build that I officially like, and I think it's the most consistent, and it does well against the most decks out there instead of like a couple. It was really well rounded. So that's about it. All right, for the supporters, I might say Justice Alley Birdman and Plague Spreader. Genesis Alley Birdman is so good in this deck. Like the mini combos in this deck, I can summon DC Diva for a Lost Blue first turn, and I can bounce back my Diva to exceed into a Z-Mains. This deck is really great with exceeding. This deck can exceed pretty much 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 is the least popular, and I made it just because I really want to summon it. But I have summoned it before, and it won me 1 game. But hey, it's there just for the giggles, pretty much. And Plague Spreader, just another supporter of the Destiny part of the deck. Oh yeah, and with Birdman, he is also good to go against Locomotive. He's really great with comboing with Malicious, and he's really good for going Locomotive. I've been many times. I even took an Obelisk with Locomotive, and the way I wanted to run him is make it really more flexible. So if I needed a permanent monster on my side of the field, I can easily go into Locomotive, so I can remove Malicious, summon Birdman, and then they go Locomotive. I took an Obelisk and won for game with that against Frogs. So great. And Birdman is just so pro, but I only run 1. 2 is too many. I had 2 in here, and I drew into 2, and I was like, oh, I can't do anything. So 1 is just perfect. I run 1 Gaga Magician. He's really just, you summon it. If I have another monster on the field, I can see for pretty much anything then and there. I run only one because again I don't want him to clog up, and plus you're only gonna have one of him on the field anyway. So he's just there for if I want to go 7, I can summon Gores, summon him, and then go Big Eye. This card, I figured out this card is really good for meta. I only run one of her. She's a great set. So a lot of times I might run a set Sangan, or even in game 2 and 3 I set Snowman Eaters. She's also a really good card set too, because I think she's starting to become new in most decks. I have seen her run in some decks, and she seems like she's really good for meta. So I set her, and my opponent will attack into it, and I banish it. Maybe like a Shining, or something like that. And look, it's a light. So if it ever hits my graveyard, I can banish it for a Chaos Sorcerer and move like that. So this is a really good card. Wish I can run more of her, but I only found space for one. And I think 2, again, in this deck is overdoing it. 2-Dimension Alchemist. Pretty much when any of my cards are removed from play, when this card is destroyed, I can add it back to my hand, which most of the time, 9 times out of 10, most of my monsters are removed from play. So he's really good. I can even first turn summon a monster. My deck runs mostly monsters versus spell and traps, as you will see again. And I'm gonna hit the guaranteed monster, and he's always like a +1 for me. Such a good card. Alright. Again, I feel like every deck should run, or maybe at least 2 or 3 Veilers in each deck, because this card is just so good, and it's a tuner. So if you don't even use this effect, maybe first game you go against heroes and they're like, oh, I can't Veiler anything because they run a skill drain, so you can summon it as a tuner and synchro. But I think the deck, many decks should run Veilers because it's the best card pretty much this format. I run only one Battle Fader. It stops a lot of OTKs. It saved me a lot. A lot of times if I have this card in BLS or Dark Arm, I wait until my opponent goes really off. I special summon in Battle Fader, and then I just go off with my Chaos cards or my boss monsters and change the whole game. I actually won like that. I won against, I don't remember what deck it was, but I remember him having 75 light points, and I had only 700. I dropped the Battle Fader. It was Sam's. I dropped the Battle Fader, and I pretty much swung off. I dropped Dark Arm, dropped, I think the Birdman and Malicious combo, took his Shein, and just went off that turn. One Sangan. Pretty much self-explanatory. Searches for every card in the deck, and he's a rank 3, which I'm trying to support XYZs as much as possible. For like my big level monsters, I run 1 Trag, 1 Gores, 1 Dark Arm, Chaos Sorcerer, and a BLS. The main reason for the selection like this, as you can tell, Trag can go any level, which is in my graveyard, which he can exceed for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blase blase. He's a great card. He takes upon his monsters. I think he's really good, but I only run 1 just to save the clogging. Don't really need 2 like that. Well, not in my version. Many people may have seen him at 2 being really better, but I feel like 2 is overdoing it, especially in my deck, because I have a lot of Veilers, Battle Faders, a lot of cards that will wait in my hand and plays perfectly on gameplay. So if I have 2 Trags, it may be pretty bad. Since I don't have like a lot of field pressure, I have a lot of hand pressure. I don't want too much hand pressure, or it may cost me the game. Gore, self-explanatory. He's a rank 7, so he can. I use him for Big Eye. Same way with Dark Arm. Chaos Source is a rank 6. He also gives me out my Strike Bouncer. He's really good with Malicious. I can summon Chaos Source to remove Malicious after I use the effect, and then go for a Strike Bouncer and swing. So that's good, and I have a Negator on the field. And BLS. Everybody knows what BLS does, so don't need to go into that. For my spells, I run 2 Dualities. 3, I took out the 3rd one just because I feel like it runs really congested again, because my deck is like half normal, half special. So I was like, 3 maybe a little too much, because I have first turn Diva and like 3 Power Dualities. So I was like, it's better to have 2. with Destiny draws, I put these again in and out. When I ran only one Diamond Dude, and at one point I ran none, and I only had this card at one. So I feel like it's better to have the one extra Diamond Dude and one Malicious, you know, with the two Destiny draws. And then even if I don't need these cards, or if any spell card becomes ever dead in my hand, I can always discard it. And I have numerous of ways of getting rid of dead spells in my deck. Next card, I have one Miracle Fusion. Again, this card been changed out the times. I never ran 3, but I have ran 2. And this is a great card to have in the hand. Great to drop Absolute Zero whenever you need them. 2 is okay. Again, lack of space. And you don't really need that many Absolute Zeros. I usually drop Absolute Zero when I know my opponent like swarm the field. Maybe if I like against Sam's, for example, and I bow to fade their field. After that, I can play Miracle Fusion to, you know, and it's a 0. Like if they try to like oppose him or anything like that, the whole field's gonna be destroyed unless they have Starlight Rose set, which is gonna suck. But Absolute Zero got me out a lot of spots. Even with Chaos Dragons, he helped me out a lot because he swarmed the field with dragons. I dropped out of Fader, and I went 0. I swung onto his like Pulsar, destroying his whole field. He got Red Eyes, and I summoned the Gen X ally Birdman with Malicious combo, and I took his Red Eyes. I special my own, I think it was a Stardust in my graveyard, or a Scrap Dragon, and so I swung for game with that. So that's actually really good. And I'm running this card. This card is so very good. I run one because having 2 is a little inconsistent. It's a minus, but the way you can use it in my deck, it can be also like, you know, break even. But this is a really good card. It's a monster reborn that works in the remove and play. You discard a card, you equip it to your monster that you remove and play, and you can special summon it in attack mode, which is a really bad minus play. I can show you with Foolish. First turn I can Foolish Burial Malicious or banish Malicious and bring them back with this card, and I have 2 Malicious on the field. I can go into rank 6 like immediately. But that combo takes about 3 cards. If Power Bouncer or Strike Bouncer gets destroyed too easily, that can cost me game because a lack of, you know, protection in my deck, and the minus in the deck is just really bad. So if we're going against Dino Rabbit, that's going to cost me the game. 1 Reinforcements of the Army. 1 Mind Control, which is really good. Takes away Utopias. It's just, since my deck is so versatile of all these different ranks and synchros and stuff, Mind Control any monster is just not you know, it's not bad for me. I can hit anything. I can hit a level 1 monster, use it. I hit a level 2, 3, 4, 5, even 7. I even took a 7 and went rank 7. It's so great, so good card. For my like staples, pretty much that are made in every deck, or 2 MSTs, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, and Heavy Storm. Or just the main setups for the staples and spells. And I run 1 Trap, which is my heart card. This card, I feel like I run this in most of my decks because I'm not a trap person. I feel like the deck runs a lot faster. Only running spells and mini monster effects that go off for a lot of combos. So I run no traps because I feel like traps can hold you back from a lot of potential in the deck. So I just run Trap and Trap Hole, destroys 2 monsters on the field. Great whenever I need it. And of course I run no traps, so this card is never dead for me. So great card. And I sided out when I run Royal Decree and stuff because I don't run any traps. So Royal Decree is just like the perfect side deck. Like you main trap first, and that's the only trap you run. You have to like main 3 Royal Decrees, or that's just, you know, self-explanatory. Alright, and for my extra deck, I run 1-0. That was for my fusion. For my XYZs, I run 1 Gachi, or My Stroke, Photon Strike Bouncer, Big Eye, Zemains, Utopia, Leviathan Dragon, and Utopia Ray. For my synchros, I want 1 Bionic, 1 Contaster, Scrap Dragon, Stardust, Locomotive, and Black Rose. And that's it for my extra deck, which is really great and consistent. I love it. It views every card perfectly. Like once I go Bionic for a level 6, I never had to go worry about going Bionic again because I really don't need it. You drop the cards when you need them. Don't drop Bionic because I just want to synchro. Use your extra deck as wisely as possible. Alright, and I guess I'll go ahead and I will explain my side deck too. Alright, I run Raigeki breaks. I run 2. For 1, priority is going, and 2, I side this in after I take out my Treacherous Trapole. For 1, if I don't activate Royal Decree, because I usually side them in with Royal Decree, I can just destroy 1 card by discarding, and that's also helpful with getting my Malicious in the graveyard. If I draw into a Plague Spreader or any other random card that I don't need, or it helps me get like a Chaos on the field by discarding a Light, or even with Absolute Zero, if I discard a Water Monster, I can Miracle Fusion it back, you know. So I'll run 2 Raigeki breaks inside deck. Royal Decrees. Stop a lot of back row decks like Glass, Heroes, Brandies, some Rabbit decks. And I don't know about running it in Inzectors because Inzectors don't really have that many scary back row. Like, you know, I'm really scared about the Hornet, so I probably wouldn't run or side these, depending on how the deck is built. If it's mainly traps, like a whole bunch of Phoenix Chains and Mirror Force Torrentials, Solemns, Royal Decree, and pressure them to Veilers, and I should be okay. Just 1 MST, 2 Thunder Kings, light target also, 1 Grandmo. This card saved me like all the time. I used to main this card, but I said I read a side deck it because it doesn't follow most of my deck first turn strategies or first turn game strategies. It's because he's an Earth. He's a little weird in the main deck now, so I just I side him, but he's really great. Especially I run like a lot of hand traps and stuff. I can bounce back somebody shining, and then if they attack me directly, I just drop Gore, Shrag, you know, whatnot. 2 Storm Eaters. Like this card is almost mandatory, almost in side deck now. 2 DD Crows. And yes, I still run Maxis. Thinking about taking this card out. Don't really need it. It's unnecessary now. It's only good against some decks, maybe like against windups. Or even if I found it really useful in Dragonides, but who plays Dragonides anymore? But every once in a while I might play it just because I feel like it's the least used card in my side. So I feel like I can find better cards for it. But since Maxi just looks so pretty, I just don't want to, you know, throw it away to the side like that. So yes, I'm one of the few people that still play Maxi. So there you have it. Alright, that concludes my deck. I hope you guys like it. Comment on my deck if you find anything weird about it or anything that you like to add to my deck. I'll probably be missing something, but yeah, this deck, I've been playing this deck on Dueling Necro for a bit, and I guess out of all the matches, maybe I'll probably, let's say out of 100, I probably lost maybe like 25 with this deck. And that's with some of the main decks with Inzectors. Get beat on by Dark Rose every once in a while. Heroes I'm okay against. Here and there with Skill Drain, like TG Stunge or anything like that. So, alright, well that concludes my deck. Thanks for watching, and